So I am so excited for this fun session. We were originally going to do like a beauty Q&A because we like doing those every like 2 months or so where people can just hop on and ask questions and we'll just kind of talk about whatever. But I figured, and we had a great suggestion to do lip tips and tricks tonight because we have these really amazing lip sets right now. And Valentine's and all that. I just thought, that's a great idea. Let's just go through and talk about some really fun tips and tricks. And like, I thought it'd be fun for anybody else to share any of their favorite tips and tricks and just have a great time. So welcome to the All-Star Beauty Sessions. We're the All-Stars and we just love hanging out on Sunday nights and tackling a beauty topic and connecting with one another. So my name's Stephanie and let's get cracking. One of the first things I wanted to go through, like I have a lot of stuff here. I have some skincare things. I've got some makeup products and I have a bunch of different like brush sizes to show you, but feel free to play along if you want and ask any questions, and then stop me anytime. But one of the things I like to start with when we're talking about lip tips and tricks is like the skincare that is involved. And, our mouth moves and we get into ages and we get lines and that will create additional challenges as we try different lip products and get our lip products to stay. And so I love tackling the skincare involved with, like lip care stuff. So one of the things that I always love telling people is generally products that are great for your eye area are also great for your lip area. And there are a lot of skincare companies that have now started being like eye and lip, because again, we know the skin around our eye is very thin, it's very delicate, and our eye is that mucous membrane. So we have to be careful what products we use. Well, our lip area is very much the same, and our eyes move and our mouth moves, and we get the fine lines through here and we get the fine lines through here. And so we're battling a lot of those same challenges. And generally, any product that is great for your eye area is going to be really great around that lip area too. So I say when you're doing, any of your eye treatments, give that perimeter of your lip some love too. Products that are rich in hyaluronic acid and peptides are especially great for the lip area. We know there's a lot of great skincare ingredients out there, but not all of them are appropriate for the more delicate areas of the face. So hyaluronic acid is really plumping. It holds 1,000 times its weight in water. I really love this iorize around the lip. And Sotox is super, super great around this lip area because it's going to be firming and it's got that peptide content and it's got that hyaluronic acid and it's just full of really great ingredients. So when you're doing your skincare, really like pay attention to what you're doing with that lip area as well. And next, skin prep. So we've done our skincare, we've done all the things, or when we've done our water-based stuff, like our hyaluronic acid type products, I love sealing everything in either with a balm or with an oil. And I'm a huge fan of lip oils and oils on the lip area. And I just love slathering it on because, we finish with our oils. I make sure you hit your lips with those oils. It's going to help additionally hold in that water content. And so make sure that you're giving your lips some love when you're doing the rest of your skincare. Now, prep before we do kind of anything with our lips. So whether you wear a lot of makeup and you love bold colors or you like stuff just more natural, prep is super duper important. And you all know how much I love a lip scrub, and I did all my stuff and I waited to do my lip stuff like I do, and it's been driving me nuts. I'm like, don't put on the balm, don't scrub the lips. And so I've been sitting here dying, waiting to do it. But again, Our lip products, it's the same the rest of our makeup. Our makeup only will wear as well as the condition of our skin and how we prepare and how we prep. So taking a moment just to make sure our lips are properly exfoliated, properly hydrated is important. But here is the catch. There's always a balance between conditioning our lips and what the heck we want our lip product to do. Because like, I love lip oils. I love getting my lips all hydrated and nourished. But if I need my products to be super long wearing, or if I know that I'm super prone to my lip products feathering, there's kind of that balance of the things that make our lips really deliciously nourished can sometimes break down lip products. And so you got to kind of make a conscious choice, like, what am I doing to prep my lips? What is appropriate for that? What do I need to do to care for the actual skin and make them comfortable in conjunction with like, what the heck am I doing with my makeup around my mouth? And it's funny, it's the same thing when someone comes to me with a concern, like my mascara is smudging, my eyeliner moves, my lip stuff is feathering. Okay, what is underneath that? And when you are using lip conditioning products that are really oil-based, super emollient, it is creating that barrier, but it's also gonna start breaking down that product from underneath. So it's kind of this, can be a catch-22 sometimes, which is why I really love lip products that are themselves like good, nourishing products. And it depends on if you want something that's just a wash of color or you're going for like a bold, long wearing matte finish. But I'm going to scrub my lips because I'm going to keel over any moment if I do not, because it's so dang dry here. It's freezing cold where you guys are. It's so cold here. And the heater's been cranking and I just feel like I'm slowly dehydrating like a piece of jerky. It's literally what it feels like. Pay careful attention to this center part of the mouth when you are prepping, because this is where we're going to start gathering that dead, dry skin in this center part of the mouth, right? But there are so many lip tips and tricks that make our lips look fuller, where we utilize this center portion of the mouth. And where does our lip product tend to fade first? This center portion of the mouth right here. And a lot of times the rest of the condition of our lips can feel great and we can just get some dryness right in here. So really like pay attention to that, but don't go crazy town. Don't like, I always say like there's a difference between like scrubbing a product and just massaging it in. And we can always just get the product on and do a little rubby rub here. And then I just like toweling it off. But if you're really needing something that's going to be a lot more long wearing, the lip scrubs, oh, there's fluff on my mouth now. That's great. Delicious. But it can leave an oil residue. And so be aware, like, do I need to remove that residue? Balms are another thing. I know a lot of people that do all their skin prep and do all the thing and slather on a balm, but if you have that balm on there and are expecting like a super long wearing matte look, this is going to get in the way of that. So just be aware of those things and just play around, because our environment is a major factor, and seasonally it's a major factor in how our lips are. And winter months, generally for me, I'm not out and about as much, but when we think about the environmental factors that impact the condition of our lips, it's not just like existing and breathing and all of that stuff, or a heater on. Like wind has a major impact on it. Mask wearing and that friction on our lips can have a major impact on us. And then in the summer months, when people are generally out more, you can absolutely get sunburned on your lips. And that's why I really love when someone is just doing something day in and day out, a balm that does have an SPF on there, because it is no joke when you get a sunburn on your lips, but you can also get a wind burn and, you know, a lot of different things. And when we're talking about the delicate mouth area, think about those factors and just take care of your lips. Take care of your lips. So now I want to just dive into some of my most favorite tips and tricks, because I get accused all of the time of having lip fillers. And when I get accused of that, I'm like, I'm doing something right with my lipstick, because I definitely don't have lip fillers. And my lips look very, very different when I have makeup on and when I do not, because I love, I don't know, I love full lips. And as a makeup artist, I have found that so many women actually think their lips are thinner than they really are. And here's why. There are two factors when we gauge the fullness of our lips. It's the color and the actual fullness and the shape of our lips. And they don't like line up perfectly. And most people rely simply on where is our natural color on our mouth. And they think like, that's how big my lips are. But that is a smaller area where we have the color. When we turn to the side, we can see, and I don't know if you can see on me, even like forward, it looks like this, but when I turn to the side, you can actually see most people have a ridge through here that is much more full than where the actual color is. And so we generally want to follow the fullness of our lips as opposed to just where the color is, because that is one thing that happens as we age, is we actually lose that coloring in our lip area. Typically it fades. It's not as bold. It's not as bright. And as we age also, when we start losing collagen in our skin, our lips will naturally lose some fullness. So when we're losing that fullness naturally and color naturally, it will actually make us think our lips aren't nearly as full as they really are. So be aware of that and always follow the fullness as opposed to just where the color is. And that will make a huge difference. And where there's not fullness, that's why we have lip liner. Because lip liner lets us do and be whoever we want to be. It's amazing. It's just such a phenomenal resource. But I wanted to start with one of my favorite nude lips. So when you are really wanting a more full lip and you are not accustomed to doing a little bit more, start with less color. I'm not going to tell everyone like, hey, let's play and make your lips, you know, maybe look a little more full and let's integrate a bold color. You know, pick something and lean into that and then grow from there. So if you're trying some of these techniques for a fuller lip, start maybe with something that is a bit more nude. Now there's some people think a nude lip is something that is similar or just a few shades off from your natural skin tone. Some other people like classify nudes as something that is just more like muted tones that occur maybe like naturally in the face. And some people, when they say nude, they're really thinking like something pretty close to my natural lip color. When I say nude, I'm going something more along like the natural tones found in the actual skin. And that's very different for everybody. So I am going to grab one of my favorite lipsticks, which is 100. This is great because it has just enough color, but it is still very like, it's not like super brown. It's not super orange. It's not super pinky. I really love it. And then I'm going to grab a couple different shades of lip liner. So this is one of the first things is I'm going to show you some of these natural shades of lip liner. When you are doing a nude lip and we're going for fullness, having two different shades of lip liner is going to be your best friend, because all of these tips and tricks that I've taught you to shape and shade the face, we're going to take those exact same concepts and apply that to the lip area. And then I'm going to tell you the funniest story about this lip liner that just happened the other night. Like, so funny. So I'm going to show you now. This is our lip color we're working with. And I am picking a color that looks like it matches it or maybe is a little lighter, and then one that kind of matches it a little better and might be a little bit deeper. We can also take one that is a few even more shades deeper, depending on how exaggerated you want some of these techniques to be. And I'll kind of show you the difference, but I just wanted to give you that example. And this again can be applied to any shade range. We're just doing this with nudes to start. So we're prepped, we're exfoliated, and I'm just gonna do a check here to make sure my lips aren't too like oily, because it's gonna get crazy if they're all oily. If I want my lip product to really last on someone else, I'm gonna fill the lip with lip liner, do all this other stuff. I'll show you that with a more bold shade, but I'm gonna do like the quick full lip that I do on myself every day. So I always remember that center area. I just start in the center and I go to town with my actual lipstick. I'm not lining first. And I am just getting that color on there. And I just have it on there and you can see it's like not super pale, but it's not like really pinky. I personally, when I feel like I have a nude lip the same color as my face, I feel that doesn't feel authentic to me, but I think it looks great on a lot of people. Lip products are one of those things where I feel like they bring out a different quality in different people. And depending on what lip product I have on, I kind of feel like a different superhero. But I really struggle personally. Like it just doesn't always feel like authentically me when I feel like I have no color on my lip. But I know a lot of people that love that. So now I'm going to take that mid-tone color that more so matches this. So this is like the simple version. I love these lip liners because they are self-sharpening and it's like the perfect like point on there. I feel like it's not too crazy sharp. It's not too dull. And it's just every time you literally have the perfect tip on there. I'm going to move this water because I know my elbow is going to send it flying here in a second. Okay. So now I'm just going to take this liner. And the simplest way to get fullness is just.
What color is that?
This is dark nude and it's my favorite and I'm obsessed with it.
That's my favorite. Okay, that's what I thought it was. But.
And I like to make my lip a little taut and follow the fullness of the lip. And I'm going to do it on one side to show you. And I'm just lightly sketching. With it being a little bit, but not much deeper than this color, what it's doing is it's actually creating this great depth and like contour around that edge. And you can already see how it's creating that great fullness. And I'll do the same thing on the bottom. And I'm not doing like a hard line. I'm sketching and doing it a little wider and I'm shading in. And I'm just doing this side to show you right now. When I do that, what it's doing is literally making it look like there is more depth where that line is. And when we create depth, naturally, it's going to make this part look like it's standing out more. Same thing when we shade our cheek. When I create a contour here, it's going to make this part of my cheek stand out more, right? So when I shade around the edge of my lip, it's going to make this part stand out more. And one of the reasons why for a lot of people, I have them start with this lining second thing as opposed to trying to get this line perfect and fill it in first is it's so forgiving. It's so easy to do. It's super fast, but I find it helps people literally follow the fullness of the lip as opposed to just that color. Because we're automatically blending this long wearing lip liner into this shade and I can really just sketch it in and sketch it down this way and in, and we can even do a little bit more towards the center here if we want to. And you can see now how this looks nice and full through here. And I'm not overlining my lips. I'm literally just finding where my lip actually is. Versus this other side. Can you all see the difference there? Now, there is a double lining technique That is why I love having two colors. If I wanted to take this slightly lighter shade, and I'm going to show you what this does because I'm using just this lighter shade. See what happens if I just take a lighter shade around the edge? That didn't do me like a ton of favors, did it? No. If anything, you want to err on the side of slightly deeper. But if I double line, it can just really help blend that fullness and make it really nice and full. But I want to show you with the shade even deeper, because again, it's the same thing. If I take one that's even deeper, I can just do a more exaggerated contour. And this honey shade I think is really beautiful. I've been playing in it with a bunch of different colors, so I actually just added a little pink on there. Don't be afraid to use something even more deep. Do that same sketching. And these just go on so nicely. And see how now you really see that contrast between the colors, and it's an even more exaggerated fullness. I just have the ability to make my lips look even more full. The more contrast you are providing between where that depth is and the lighter areas, it's just going to make them look even more full. Now, if we want to drop a little Amazebox spoiler with the awesome lip color that came in there, this is one of my favorite techniques with the birthday cake, because now that I have that on, I can just take this in the center a little bit. And this came just in the nick of time because the one that I have is almost gone. In the center and pop it in there. And I think this blends in with our lip liners so beautifully. And so this side is the one with the dark nude. This is the side with honey. Then can you see it's still very subtle? It's not crazy, but this side is going to look more like that dramatic fullness through here. And then this one is just more blended. So the more contrast you have, you know, you really get that exaggeration. And I think that even when you pair, you know, colors like this, or heck, I saw Kendra Eris do like something like this the other day, and it looked so gorgeous because, again, the more contrast you have, the more ability you have to blend them, and it's going to make that center look nice and light, and it look like it's pulling forward, and that depth out on the edge like it's pulling back, and it actually just gives you more ability to build in that fullness no matter how much you actually have. The next trick, depending on how many lip products you feel like wearing, is to just pop a hit of gloss right in the center. I don't like doing gloss all over when I'm going specifically to create fullness on the lip, because it's the same thing with the eye. If I want to make the lid stand out, I'm only going to put that lighter shade or something that reflects light on the lid, right? If I put that shimmer shade all over, what's that going to do? It's going to actually make it all look totally flat again. So it's that same concept. You want to put that light and that reflection just where you want to exaggerate it pulling forward. And people would do all of these beautiful lip looks and make their lips look so gorgeous and so full, and then they just put a gloss all the way over it. And Gloss is always going to help make your lips look more full because they catch the light. But if you're really going for all the dimension you can get, you do want to have that differentiation between that perimeter and the depth at the perimeter, whether you do something a little more subtle like this or something a little more exaggerated, and just keep that light and that gloss popped right in the center. And it's going to, you're just going to capitalize on that effect so much more. Now, it's always great just to pop a gloss on or do a gloss with a little lip liner, and you're going to get a more subtle version of what we did. But I just wanted to show you like all the things that you can do and how that works. And I poke myself. Love taking a little bit around the edge right when you're done, just to make sure you did a good job. The thing with gloss too is it moves. It has slip. It's always going to move to more places than you put it. Also, if you struggle with products feathering, this is what you want to do, because lip liner is more long wearing. It's going to seal off that perimeter. And the more gloss you have on, the more it's going to create that movement. So really like sticking it right in the center, and a balm is going to have that same effect, just not quite as shiny. So anything that catches the light, any of those textures will help with that. I absolutely love doing this technique with our tinted balms. I get the most questions on what the heck I have on my lips when I do this pink grapefruit balm. Literally can't live without this the rest of my life. The dark nude lip liner around it like I did, and that pink and that neutral contrast is really beautiful, with a pop of this Grace gloss. This combo, and Humble is great too, but I love the contrast of a little bit of pinkiness with this dark nude. And I get questions every single picture I ever do when I do that, like, what the heck do you have on your lips? Holy crap. Because, and it's really fast and it's really easy, but you're just capitalizing on those techniques, and it really helps the wear and the longevity of the color. And I love it. So any questions about that before we move on to our next tip? Any questions? And this can be done, like, it's really fun to utilize these techniques when you are playing with different colors. You know, I love doing a color contrast when I do this, and love really like getting creative. And this is, again, a reason why I'm not filling in my whole lip with that lip liner, because I'm not going to get that contrast right at the edge. And one day when I did that with the grape lip liner, and I didn't have anything else on my lips, these are so long wearing that it didn't blend the way I wanted it to. So when you already have a lip product on your lip and then you go in with that lip liner, it's going to help that blend and really create that dimension. So I'm going to take this off. I love these wipes. I like the individual wrapped ones. I have them stashed everywhere. These are such a great option when you're doing different things on your lips, because they're so great for just like cleaning up edges too, or any oopsies or whatever. And they don't leave a crazy residue on the lip like other makeup removers can. So now we have done that, and I'm going to show you this technique with more exaggerated color. And if you really want to try that and create some really interesting dimension and keep it nice and matte. If you don't want to add any gloss, any sheen, you really need to start using even more color contrast. Now, this is something that I like when we really want this to be super long wearing, because this is a long wearing lip color and this is a long wearing lip liner. And I need a brush, a lip brush for this. So I'm just, again, I'm getting this Birthday Cake ELC on, getting it on. And again, like, I'm not being crazy particular with my placement, because I'm going to be using lip liner and I'm going to be blending and doing all this stuff. I'm going to pat it in and press it to make sure I get it all over. Okay.
So Stephanie,
Yes.
when you have that long wearing lip enduring lip color,
Huh?
how do you keep it so that it doesn't feel like your lips are being shriveled up by being dry?
Well, I find if I scrub my lips right, use my lip scrub right before I put it on, it really helps quite a bit. And then if you use it in conjunction with a gloss or just quick topping with a balm afterwards can really help. But everyone is really different. And here's the thing with any long wearing lip color that's out there. I have found in my experience that pigment really impacts the texture and how the product feels on the lip. I feel like any long wearing lip colors that utilize oranges in them, to me, have always felt more dry. So sometimes it's like, know how different ones feel on the lip. And again, you're making that decision like, do I want it to be as long wearing as possible, or am I leaning into comfort? Because those two don't always play nice together. Like, I'll utilize techniques to make sure something is like more bulletproof and more long wearing, but it will potentially make it feel more dry on the lips. Again, sometimes there is just a trade-off and you have to decide what you want to prioritize. But you know, putting a little balm underneath if you want to can really help. It will just impact how long wearing it is potentially.
Because most of the colors I have are in the nude or maybe slightly darker than nude, which is like a birthday cake and those ones. But every time I put them on, just them themselves, within about an hour or so, it's like, my gosh, my lips are more dry than they were when I started.
Well, they can I mean, they dry down, so they can absolutely do that. And I really feel like it's different, like person to person. So I would just say make sure you have a base on there and something underneath.
Okay.
So I just went in, this is grape, and I have birthday cake on, and I'm doing a wider line here. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to take my lip brush and we're going to blend it in. If I try to do the lip liner first on dry lips, the product just wouldn't move the way I wanted it to. Like, I'm all about, like, there's a lot of different ways to get the same result, and some are just more user-friendly. I just find that it's so much more user-friendly to do it in this order than the opposite order. And I think that when you are dealing with more depth of color, you're able to control it by doing little bits at a time, as opposed to being like, I'm going to put this all over and I'm going to do this and then try and lighten it up in the center. It's like, once it's on, it's kind of on. And so it's, to me, again, this is like going to be so much more user friendly. And I love, so one of my next tricks, I'm going to show you this. So it's going to do that same technique as last time, but using lip liners to adjust the color that I have is one of my favorite tricks. A lot of times people will get a color, no matter what it is, and it's like, oh, is it me? Is it not me? I don't know. And lip color looks very different in its packaging than it actually does on the person. Because when you get it on, you are dealing with maybe your natural lip color underneath, and you really see that contrast with your skin undertone. And so something that maybe looks slightly pink or even neutral, when it gets on someone that has really warm undertones, will all of a sudden maybe look like it's like screaming pink. And it looks so much more pink because you have a warm undertone behind it. Well, when we use lip liners or other lip products to adjust that a little bit, you really have unlimited possibilities. Like, I don't like taking my lip products in particular always at face value. I always assume we're going to tweak a little bit. Like, everyone, or hopefully everyone, has like their one lip color that is perfect for them straight out of the tube. But some other stuff can take a little adjusting to make sure that it's perfect for you, because that's just what happens with lip color a lot of times. You put it on and it reads a certain way, and it doesn't mean it's wrong for you. It maybe just means like, let's use a more neutral lip liner to tone this down, or maybe let's top it with a gloss, or maybe let's mix it with this other color, and then it's this perfect shade. So now can you see on the bottom how I blended this like orangey neutral with this really deep grape shade, how you can see the depth and dimension of my lip. And it's also creating this just really beautiful color. I'm using my pinky to anchor. This is a really important tip when you're doing lip stuff. And I'm doing these little sketching motions. And pulling your lip taut can really help. And I've taught you all this when we were doing just the one on bold lips, but I don't start on one side and just go all the way to the other side. I'm either starting from the center and working my way out both ways, or starting from an outer edge and working my way in both ways. And sometimes I do both. Well, I'll go inside out, outside in, because our muscle memory is different. And you will create a totally different shape on each side if you just try and go from one side all the way over to the other side. Or if you're going like outside in here, you know, if you, that's why I like going both ways, because you're compensating for that muscle memory. I do that with eyeliner a lot too. That's really gonna help you get that symmetry, which is a really important tip for your lips, is making sure that we have that symmetry. My lips are not remotely symmetrical. They are not. One side of my Cupid's bow is much higher. Again, that's why we have awesome lip products. So I'm not going to literally follow what's here. I want to make a really pretty symmetrical shape. And if you struggle with that, just with the products, a lip brush will help you so much, because it just lets you have so much control. And again, instead of me just trying to get it straight out of the tube perfect, I can use this brush now to move it to where I want it to be. And I love these lip brushes. Not all lip brushes are created equally. I prefer a brush that is rounded at the top and is very, very thin. Do you see how thin this is? I can get the exact shape that I need with a brush like this. And I feel like this is really the perfect size. Like this brush I have from this other brand, this isn't cutting it when I'm going for definition. It's so much wider. It's not quite as dense, and just the shape of the top, I'm not going to be able to get a clean edge with a brush like this. This is another one that I do like because it's really nice and super thin, and this is just a little travel one. But brush shape is so important. And I'm just gonna blend it in. And I'm doing this on my computer, so hopefully I'm doing a good job, because I can't see quite as well. Now that I have that on, I'm gonna look in my mirror. Oh, let me use a mirror really fast and fix this, because I can do better. So I'm getting that edge on. And if you do need to clean up, I love having little Q-tips and a little spot of oil or makeup remover just on the edge, or even concealer. It just kind of depends on what's going on. Q-tips can be great for helping blend that edge too. So now what I'm going to do, that I see how pretty those blended together. I'm just gonna, where did you go? Grab my ELC again and just dot it back through the center. And I'm actually just gonna use my finger to blend that out from the center. And I took two colors that were very, very different, right? And I created this color, but here's why this matters. If I just reached for a product that was more this color and I put it on and it would be a beautiful color, it would be great, but it would read more flat. When you use a technique like this, what I'm able to do is still get that beautiful color and what I want to create here, but now it has more dimension. And with the textures that I used, it's very long wearing. So again, it's like I could grab a color like this and put it on and be on my way. But if I really want to show off the shape of my lip, utilizing a technique like this is going to give me more dimension instead of it just being flat. If you can see what you're doing better than I can, it will look better than what I just did. So here's my next trick. When you are doing something that has more color, here is what you do if you feel like you didn't get the symmetry that you wanted. Maybe you feel like the line isn't as crisp as you want. I grab my concealer and a small lip brush. Again, small shape, and I'm going to choose one that is my actual skin tone. If I really wanted to highlight around the edge, like if I was doing a bold red and I really wanted that crisp shape, I would actually go for a concealer shade that is a little lighter and acts more like a highlight for me. I don't want a crazy ton of product on here to start. And I am going to just take this and I'm going to now line my lips on the outside with my concealer. And I'm going to do that same sketching motion around. And I'm just going to clean up that edge. And this is, you know, you've all heard me say this, like, don't try and get it perfect on the first shot, just get it on there and perfect it. There's a difference between doing something perfectly and perfecting something once it's on. And it's actually a lot faster to get it on and utilize techniques to perfect it a little bit than just like losing your mind trying to get it so perfect every time. Think about when you're doing winged eyeliner. If you're trying to get it so perfect every single time when you're going and going and going, like versus like getting it on and using something to clean up that edge and sharpen it, which one's going to be faster? Which one's going to be easier for most people to do? It's get it on and then perfect it. And this is one of my favorite techniques to perfecting the lip shape. Sidebar, if you really want your lips to be the center of attention, do something that I did not do. And maybe take your little straight razor and hit your little hairs through here, because my toxic trait is not paying attention to how my mustache is doing and then wanting to do a gorgeous lip and being like, this bold lip complements my mustache hairs nicely. I should have shaved them off. So bonus tip for you, if you want your lips to be the center of attention and be perfect and amazing, like, you know, work this zone with your little razor tweezers or something, because mine look great right now. And I'm very aware of them. Very aware of how my mustache looks right now. So once we do this great color, and now we have this really gorgeous dimension on here, you can see my lip shape in the fullness so much more than using one color. Oh my gosh, how do I get my lipstick to match? I mean, my blush to match. I didn't put any blush on. This is one of my most, like, what I tell people, if you're doing more with your lip, don't put blush on maybe. Do all of your other stuff, do your lip, and then make that blush choice. Because when I'm creating a shade, when I'm using two opposing colors, it's gonna be slightly different every single time, depending on how much of that base color I use, depending on how much of that lip liner I used, how many times I mess up and have to fix it, or like if I change my mind halfway through or decide to put a gloss on. It will be slightly different every time. So if I wait to do my blush, because we want our lip color and our cheek color to be like a happy family. And the easiest way to do that is to literally use that color that's on your lips, on your cheeks. So at least wait to see what happens and where you end up with your lip. Because if I'm getting ready And usually I like doing my cheeks at least some first, so I don't look so flat. But if I'm doing something more interesting on my lip, I will literally totally wait. I will not put any blush on. I'll just do a little bronzer or maybe a contour, and I just use a pressed powder to contour. Then I'm going to see where this ends up and decide, do I have a blush that matches this that's going to make this one happy family? Or do I want to literally take the lip color that I have on my lips and pop it on my cheeks? And so it's really easy when we use the pad of our finger to do that. Or if I need to, I'll just make a little concoction on the back of my hand with those two colors that I feel like goes with this to then pop it on my cheeks. Because again, like, one of the things that can frustrate people, especially if they don't have that color awareness or aren't aware of the effect contrasting lip and cheek colors can have, is they're like, for some reason, every time I put this lip color on, it's just not right. I love this lip color, but when I put it on, it's just not right. And they're using like a really plummy blush and maybe a really orangey lip or something where it's just not harmonious, and they don't understand like why it's maybe like not quite right. And we definitely want these to be a happy family. I love literally taking what's on my lips and popping it on my cheek, or like the back of the hand is great. You know, just if I needed to, I could just mix those two, create that blush and put it on, and it would just be like really, really lovely and perfect. Does anyone have any questions about that?
When you put on, you said the EOC or ECO?
ELC, enduring lip color.
Okay. I'm like, okay, what's the acronym? I don't know what you're talking about.
So it's just the long wearing lipstick. So any type of like liquid lipstick generally. So our ELCs are the enduring lip colors, and they are a liquid lipstick. One thing with these in particular is that I love them straight up as cream blushes too. I use them all the time as cream blushes. I think they're really gorgeous. And actually, even right when you put on foundation before you've powdered, especially because it's a cream on a cream, you can just take some dots on your cheek and blend it in. And this birthday cake is one of my absolute most favorite colors on the cheek. I think it looks so beautiful on so many people. So now, what do I do if I feel like every time I put a color on, it is too bold? I really want to wear a color, but every time for some reason on me, it just looks too bold. One of my favorite tricks for this is to find a lip color that is like your ideal nude for your skin. You can either use a concealer for this trick, or I love our range of ELCs because there are so many nudes. And if you feel like a color is too bold, mix that color with your ideal concealer color or an ELC or a lipstick that is like your skin tone nude with that color. And when you apply it, the color will read a little more natural for you. This is something that I do a lot in my kit, especially with women of color, women that maybe have very exaggerated undertones in their skin, where like they have a very warm undertone and they want to wear this pink, but every time they put a pink on, it's like so pink. And I'm talking like a pink that should be a more muted natural pink, that when it gets on them looks so much more exaggerated because of those competing undertones. When I mix it with a color that is very, very close to their skin tone with that lip color and then put it on them, it reads the way that it should read according to how it looks here. And it is such a great technique when we're working into trying maybe more adventurous colors too, is don't be afraid to mix. And that's why I love everybody having a long wearing lip color that is a great nude or neutral for them, or just like a concealer that they feel like works with lip products, because it's like one of my favorite tricks just to make colors that feel like they're not wearable more wearable, because undertones really start screaming out. Another trick that I love teaching people is when maybe a color is a little light and you want to wear a more pale color, but when you put it on with your natural lip color, it starts reading darker. Cover your lips with your concealer and mute out any of that color that's there. And so you put on your concealer to cover your lips, do a quick powder to set it to neutralize that lip color. Then when you top it with those more fair colors, they're gonna read more true. I don't like to start with that technique because you never know once a product gets on, whether it's sheer or opaque or long wearing. There's so many different formulations out there. And so I always like to go to that, like once we've tried it, once we see how it's on, again, how do I want to adjust it? Is this going to be better if we have a concealer underneath maybe to take down that color? Or can I fix this just adjusting it with a lip liner? So that's why I really love people kind of building their mini arsenal, because it just helps them do more with what they have. It's so much fun to play in different shades. One of my stars of the show, if you do struggle with feathering, is having a really awesome pressed powder, whether it be clear or have some color on it. So that technique that we did with the concealer to clean up that lip shape, I do that all the time when I do bold colors or just have a day where I did a bad job. However, you can do the best job ever and have it be perfect. And if you're more susceptible to your lip product feathering, you want something that is really going to keep it in place. And having a really great pressed powder is going to be your secret weapon. So I love taking a small brush, and I don't always do a lip brush with this. I like something actually that has a little more oomph to it. I love our pointed liner brush for this, but I don't know if I have a clean one. Oh, I might. Hold on, let me see. Or a smoky liner brush. Yeah. So this is a great brush for this. Something that it's a little wider. And we want to set the edge of our lip product. So I'm going to take, actually going to take this one. Get it on there and dot it off. Setting around the edge of our lip is really, really going to help with feathering. Man, this is hard on my little computer screen. This can also clean up the edge. I just find I get a more crisp edge when I do it with concealer, but having a powder that is like a go-to powder is really going to help us make sure this is not going anywhere. And I grabbed the brightening one because you see how that created a little more fullness around the edge of my lip when I did that? So if you feel like you want more hydration on your lips, but you're afraid your product's going to move, take the time to set the perimeter. Take the time to just, with a brush like this, get some extra powder along the edge to make sure you're really locking in that product there and preventing it from moving. Now, with this same brush, I'm going to take this lovely rosé shade highlight. And these are one of my favorite tips and tricks for lips. I love these so much, and here's why I love these. These actually are a highlighter that's set. They're not greasy. They do not have the, like a lot of cream or liquid-based highlighters, I just feel like they break stuff down. And it's been really frustrating for me because of their formulations where they go on lovely, but they don't really set and they will break down makeup on the cheek and you can't really use them around the lip. I love this stuff because it's just so fluid. It's so beautiful. It's not glittery, but it will actually set. And again, using those highlight techniques, I love a highlight at the Cupid's bow. And so one of my favorite finishing techniques with the whole face is taking something with a glow and just hitting additional spots where I want to accentuate that highlight. If you take a moment to hit this Cupid's bow here, and some people actually even take it up this way to highlight like this area here to really like exaggerate the fullness through here. I feel like it makes me look like I have a runny nose, so I don't do that part. But when I'm doing a photo shoot or a lot of things, I always like to take the time to do a really subtle highlight right here on the Cupid's bow. Now there is a trend right now with lining the lips where the Cupid's bow is almost like erased. But I just personally don't feel like that's generally very flattering. Maybe it's me. I think the Cupid's bow is so beautiful and I really love accentuating it and highlighting it. And I just love putting a little bit here. And especially if you're just doing like one color all over and you want to add a little dimension, you don't want to take the time to line. You don't want to use all these other products. Well, these are such a great multifunctional product, and just hitting the Cupid's bow and maybe even taking a tiny bit in the center of your lip right here when you're finished is going to create such a beautiful highlight, and it will set and not be all smeary and crazy, which is why I love it on the lip. Now, this is also one of my favorite products to create a custom blush with your lip color. Because remember, we were talking about creating a custom blush with our lip color to make it look perfect. Well, if you want to make it even more exciting, mix it with one of these. And I use the back of my hand all the time, but if I take this and mix it with, where did you go? Why do I keep losing stuff in front of me? Oh, here it is. And mix it with this ELC on the back of my hand or with a brush or whatever, however I want to do it, and mix those together. Now look at this. Look what I just made right there. See how beautiful and luminous and glowy that is? And I could put that on my lip, but think about that as a cheek product now. And dabbing that onto my cheek. And do you see how pretty that is? And how gorgeous that looks now with what I have on my lips? And how perfect that is. And it's just a way to make everything so gorgeous and multifunctional, because like these you can use literally everywhere on the face, but I never hear people really talking about them on the lips and how they can be utilized on the lips. And I think the texture with these is so lovely, and they're just, it's a really elegant finish. And so taking it through here and mixing it, and especially because this birthday cake is like my favorite on the cheeks. I think it's so pretty on the cheeks. And it's like this Amazebox gorgeousness this month. This with the champagne on the cheek, holy cow. Like that with the champagne on the lip, holy cow. We have this awesome dimension, awesome color, and it's like lips, cheeks, all of this stuff, you know, and it's instantly like magical. I'm going to clean my hand and I'm going to rack my brain to see if I'm missing anything, because we went through all of these things and we've hit our limit. And I just feel like I can always talk about lip tips and tricks. But again, one of the main things about it is, like we were talking with Marlena, that balance between how do you want your lips to feel and how do you want the wear of your product to be? Because sometimes those are at odds and we just kind of have to accept that sometimes. I'm really, really weird about texture on my lips. I don't like it when stuff feels dry. So I know that that lip scrub and prepping it properly will make all the difference. You know, this is why this lives on my makeup table here, to make sure I can prep properly. That will really help me throughout the day. You know, I keep these in my purse all the time. So maybe I'll start with more of a bold lip, but I touch up throughout the day with a lip and cheek balm. And then I decide, like, if I take an extra moment to just do the job right with a couple products, like these are so long wearing. I do love these as a base underneath everything. I just don't always take the time. Like if I really want something long wearing, I'll do these all over my whole lip and just press them on, especially if I'm in a mask. If you just wear these, like you're golden, and it'll give you like such great color, and we have such a range of colors. But, you know, taking a few extra moments to set the edge with powder and get the layering on right. Will help with the wear. It will help with the comfort, and the dimension will just read so beautifully so much longer. Because when it comes to lip stuff, I just find 2 products can absolutely be better than one if you are going for wear and if you're going for fullness, for sure. Like, one lipstick's great. We all love one lipstick. Lives in your bag. It's awesome. But we're talking about the tricks, the tricks here. And don't be afraid to use like 2 or even 3 products to really get the impact that you want. So my homework to you all is to push yourself out of your comfort zone a little bit and find maybe like a technique that you've wanted to try, or grab 2 different colors that you're like, I don't know if these go together, and mix them and see what you can create. Find a lip color that you were like, this, I don't feel like this works for me. What can I mix it with to maybe make it perfect, you know? And I get so sad when people find a lip, you have a lip color they feel like it's not right for them. I'm like, I've never met a lip color I didn't love. Maybe it needed a friend to make it a little perfect. Not everything's perfect out of the tube, but like, I just feel like there is such a use and a place for everything, but you just got to take a moment to play. And Shirley, as we all know, is like the master of pairing lip products and mixing things together and just creating something beautiful and amazing. And I love guessing what she has on. So don't ever just decide a lip color is not right for you. Maybe just find its perfect buddy, or see how you want to adjust it and how you want to make it right for you. And it's worth it, and it's fun. You know, we don't want to abandon our lip products. It makes them sad. So, all right, you all. If we don't have any other questions, thank you all so much for coming tonight. I'm super excited for everyone to get their Amaze box this month. It is beautiful, and it may have some of the things we played in this evening in there. Some of my favorites and some of my most multifunctional, like, besties as far as this goes. So play in your stuff. Let me know what questions you have, and ask your beauty guide how she can help you feel more amazing every single day. Have a great night, you all.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's.
Thank you, Mom.
Thank you.